Well, it's that time again. It is another episode of The Blind, and we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're tuning in, we appreciate you for joining us tonight for episode 21. We have got Russell Roberson and Scott Shelton with us from Alpha Innovations. Of course, Bryan and Garrett with you each and every week. And our man behind the scenes, Cam, he's on the ones and twos. He's going to hit that short intro video here in just a second, and we're going to talk all about the do-it-all rack system that is made by Alpha Innovations. Garrett's got the hat on. I'm repping my nice shirt. We're going to dive all into the rack, how it all came about, and what it all does right after this. Here we go. Nice little shot there at the end of the intro video from the Delta Waterfowl Expo last year at the Alpha booth. And again, Russell, we appreciate you for letting us come last year with you to the Delta Expo. We had a really good time.
Well, we're glad to have you, and it made a great booth. We had great fun. Looking forward to this year in
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, coming for the 2024 Delta Waterfowl Duck Hunters Expo. And as we mentioned a minute ago, we've got Russell Roberson and Scott Shelton with us from Alpha Innovations. And of course, they're not just friends of ours and good people, but Alpha is a sponsor of our show going on for year number 2 now. Man, we appreciate Alpha Innovations for helping us put this show on each and every week. And man, I've got a rack that Garrett gets to enjoy as well when we duck hunt lots and lots of times, and we're going to dive all into that. But Russell, to get us started, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and kind of introduce Scott a little bit.
Okay, well, Scott's an engineer. I'm an engineer. We worked in other industries. You know, Alpha's a division of another company that I have, and we build industrial sawmill machinery. We have a lot of design experience and have done a lot of stuff. Scott's been nuclear. I've been a couple other manufacturing industries, and Alpha came about because we've had, you know, I bought racks, had them on my side by side. They just weren't very heavy duty. Mm-hmm. They were not very rugged. You know, our sawmill industry, it's simple, rugged, reliable. These racks weren't simple. They weren't rugged. They weren't reliable. We decided we could build a better rack and put our, you know, engineering and design experience into this market and build a very good high-end premium rack that was adaptable because, you know, we only duck hunt so much. Mm-hmm. Use our side-by-sides all year from trail riding, you know, working our land, food plots, deer hunting, hog hunting, predator hunting, you know, just going out doing stuff. And everything else was pretty monolithic, in my opinion. It was for one purpose. Mm-hmm. And we wanted something that could adapt and change with the season and changed with everybody does this different. I mean, mm-hmm. Nobody is the same. Everyone has their own little quirks, things they want to do with it. So we tried to build something that was modular. You could swap out, change, adapt, and be very rugged, very, well built, made in America by Americans, and something that was easy to install, user friendly. And we came up with this product, and we're very proud of it. And it's a good product. It's not the cheapest product, but it's just like our sawmill machinery. It's not the cheapest to buy at the front end, but it's the cheapest to run on your cost per production. It's just like you'll probably be buying a new side by side. You can put this rack on it because it's still going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and
You said it's a good product. I think it's an incredible product.
Well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
you're underselling it. We've used it for 2 years now.
yeah,
Is that right? 2 years. We've used it out deer hunting, putting out feed. We've used it duck hunting. We've used it doing everything that we do. And I mean, it's helped us a ton. I can't say enough good things about it. Like you were talking about, it's just how rugged it's built. Another thing is it's eye catching. When you see it, it catches your eye. You were talking about that a little bit before we got on here. It's like at the Delta banquet, and I just got the chance to stop by for a minute. But when you see it set up, and I mean, it's just, you can tell just looking at it, it's a high-end product.
yeah, and that's kind of like what my wife says. You said just a minute ago, it's it's not a cheap product, but things worth having that last for a long time are not going to be the cheapest thing out there. So, and but
He was
it
talking
is.
about baby cribs, is that right?
Do what?
He was probably talking about baby cribs, not alpha racks.
Well, there's a lot me and my wife have talked about spending money on here lately with another kid coming, but that's for another episode. But Russell, your headquarters is based here in Arkansas, in Russellville, Arkansas.
That's
And
correct.
so, Scott, are you from around that area? Were you born and raised here in Arkansas?
I have lived in Polk County almost my whole life. From just a little wide spot in the road about 20 miles north of here called Hector. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that, but been here, Polk County, all my relatives, born here, will probably die here.
Yeah, and I know Russell is big on just from getting to know him, and it's kind of I mean, we've got time, so I can get into it. But the sawmill industry is how I actually met Russell.
Mhm.
My uncle, who Garrett hunts with all the time,
Mhm.
is how I met Russell, and kind of this whole thing just took shape of its own. And but you mentioned a minute ago about the sawmill side of things, and the equipment and things that you do for that kind of led into this, and you can tell the quality that it's built by people that are making something that to be used, right? Because there's a lot of things out on the market, not just racks, but anything that look good, but once you really use them, they don't look very good anymore. Not just the looks, but I mean, they just don't hold up. And this thing, now Garrett and I don't abuse it by any means, but
If we wanted to, we could.
if we wanted to, we could. It's been in rice fields, it's been in timber, it's been in the deer woods, it's been drug under trees, and and all. The only thing we hadn't done is flipped it over, and let's hope we don't do that. But
Hope you don't do that.
it is very well built. So let's kind of go back to when you got the idea to do this. I mean, tell us how this. You said that you had racks before, but when was that day that you said, okay,
Well,
I'm going to do this, and how did you even start down this path?
Well, it was probably 4.5 years ago, and I had one of the other racks out on the market on my side by side, and I had some coyotes right behind the house. And it's like, they're not getting my dogs. We had a pet deer at the time that we were raising. And it's like, so I go jump on my side by side and head out, try to cut them off, at least run them off, maybe get a few shots at them. And as I'm going down the trail, a simple little 1/4 inch grapevine, muscadine, all of a sudden grabbed my rack and ripped it off my side by side down a trail I drive through all the time. And it's like, man, this is crap. It just didn't work. So that's when the prototype started being built. There's got to be a better something, because you'd have to take those racks off to go on the trail in those Ozark Mountains, because and we go trail ride. We like to take our side by side out, go see stuff, do things. We're blessed with one of the best states for riding your side by side somewhere. Tons of parks, national forests, trails, private trails, public trails. And this all started with side by side, with 4-wheelers. Okay. So most of these trails are quite narrow. They lean, trees are now, 4-wheelers are not the thing. Everybody's got a side by side. I was a big 4-wheeler. I'll never have a side by side. That's stupid. I want the wind in my face, cruising down the trail. And then you turn, 55, and you're thinking, these side by sides are kind of nice. And I can sit by my wife. She doesn't have to hang on, and she can't hit me quite as hard from behind. And, it's like, maybe we need one of these. So all that goes to say that we design our rack to go down trails that are narrow, bounce off trees, not come off. Set the height that you want, carry your gear. When we go trail riding, we pack a lunch, take the hammocks, set up, take a little break, stop off by a creek, throw the hammocks out, cook some hot dogs, make some sandwiches, just have a good time. Just have all that gear there and have it protected. And then it's, it just didn't exist out there. And our product is pretty easy to put together, pretty easy to install. Things are welded and all. We're not like some of the guys, you get your rack, it comes in a little flat box because you've got like 963 fasteners to bolt this thing together. Or they have rivets, or they have it's not going to hold up. It's just not, it's just not going to take an Ozark trail. And, we live in the Ozarks and we run ruggedest mountain country. And, it was tested with my side by side, which is not in the best shape anymore, driving it through cedar glades, trying to knock the rack off, driving it through, thickets with briars and muscadine vines, trying to pull the rack off. And we finally think we have it somewhat perfected where it is very, very rugged, can take a lick, not going to come off. And you can leave it on, you can take it off, how we made it wire up with a nice pigtail connection where it's on, it's off. It's what you want to do with it. Change the height, raise it up, lower it down. It's,
Well, and that's with the adapt, the alpha adapt, that that's what it can do. And I think that's one of the appeals over other racks, is because you can adapt this rack to whatever you need any given day, not just have it different, and it be permanent than another time. You can move this thing and adapt it to what you need to do. So the rack is very versatile to where you can move it to different levels. You can, there's all different kinds of accessories you can have on it, By the way, if you have a ladder, be careful when you're pulling into your shop or garage.
Yep.
It's easy
sure
to tear up. It's easy to tear up gutters with if you forget that it's there, and But it's so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you would have named it the Alpha Versatile.
We might
But-
we might
but-
change, but we'll
but-
have another product. But
Alpha Adapt sounds a lot better.
it does adapt. One of our associates in Georgia who has mayhaw trees to
Mhm.
make mayhaw jelly. So good Southern product. I don't know if you eat mayhaw jelly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's really, really good. He sends me some every year.
Garrett's the jelly guy.
There ain't much I don't eat, especially jelly.
Well, cedar trees around mayhaws are not good.
Mm-hmm.
They form a rust from whatever pollen, whatever. So he had to cut down a big cedar tree that was growing up, by. And he's got a roof platform like you have with the rear rack, and it's a Max. It's very similar to your side by side. It's XMR. And he said, I cut that whole tree down, cut it up, put it on top of the roof rack, in the back, all that other stuff, had it all up, carried the entire tree over to the burn pile. And he said, I didn't think it was all that loaded until I put it all on the burn pile, and it was like over my head. And he was going like, holy cow. It's like, you can still carry brush, do your stuff, leave your rack on. You don't have to take it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's up high enough, special on Nexamore. You can just work with it. Mine stays on my machine all the time. Never take it off. Every kind of land management thing you want to do. I mean, it's great for. I don't know how many times I've had a 8-foot step ladder set up on top. It's so stable. Put it in there, jump up. Trimming trees, hanging Christmas lights. You name it. The rack is it's a nice platform.
Yeah, and so it's not just for 90% of the time we're talking about duck hunting on here. And for anybody that watches this tonight, tomorrow, anytime they see it, or they listen to the podcast version that'll be out later on tonight, a lot of people hear us talk about it and they think it's just a rack for duck hunting. It's definitely not. If you're wanting a rack for, and our commercials on here, especially on the podcast, you can hear us. I mean, it's trail riding and working and ranching and just joy riding and hunting and any kind of hunting, not just duck hunting, deer hunt. I mean, this rack can do it all. And that's why it is the do-it-all rack system. So what I want to do is take a short commercial break. And when we come back, let's talk about what racks you do offer, because you do have multiple racks now. I love my roof rack. We're going to get into that. And then we're going to dive off into a little bit more of the accessory side of it. So let's take a short break, and we'll be back with more from Russell and Scott from Alpha Innovations right after this. Welcome back to episode 21 right here on The Blind. We have got Russell and Scott from Alpha Innovations with us tonight, and we are talking about the do-it-all rack system, the Alpha Rack. And so Russell and Scott, appreciate you for taking time with us tonight to chat with us. I know it's, almost supper time. If it's not supper time, Garrett and them, they eat at about 4:30. So I'm sure he's already had
I
supper.
haven't had supper yet, so I'm pretty hungry.
But we appreciate you guys taking time away from your families to chat with us, and of course always being a part of the show.
Thank
And
you.
so,
We appreciate
so let's dive into the racks a little bit. Let's start with the bed rack, the rear rack that you have. I mean, let's talk about it. It is the Adapt, so you can move it to different levels. Why don't you just tell everybody more about that? Because you know more of the lingo than I do. I can tell people about it, but I'm not grammatically correct in it. So,
Well,
And as we do that, I'm going to try to share my screen and see if you can kind of look through them on y'all's website as we kind of look through as you talk about them.
so the Alpha Adapt, which is the rear rack, it basically comes in 3 heights, which lets you pick what you want to do. All of the racks will go directly to your bed for a very low profile, enclosed bed area and all. And then we have a low platform, which is great for trail riding. Still can handle full size coolers underneath, and if you need to always load your rack smart, heavy stuff on the bottom, light stuff on top. So this lets you carry full size coolers, put your chairs and things for the trail ride up there. Our standoffs are built to help deflect trees, protect the body of the side-by-side, let the damage and the impact go to the rack, which can handle it because of its design. We have a flush height, which puts you about even with your roof. You have a low garage, just don't leave the standoffs on your ladder that go on it. And you can pull in, or snorkel height, which you don't have to have the snorkel to run the snorkel height. It just gives you more hung under top storage, because these racks are built to hang things from the bottom of the rack above your stuff and have stuff down below. Then up in the top of the rack, we have divider panels. You can segment stuff. I have divider panels in mine. I keep all my recovery gear on one side. I know where it's at. I know where to go to get it. If I need it real quick, I know right where to go grab.
Yeah.
And nothing slides around because it's in a little pocket. And the lighting is awesome. The front corner pods, when you're driving, it's the first lights I turn on before I even turn on my headlights. Gives you about 190-degree view as you're driving down the trail. Those sharp rights and sharp lefts, I mean, they're there. You can see them. It's completely lighted up. Makes it, it takes some of the stress. I mean, you're not looking at a tunnel.
Right.
You see the entire area. And then if you want to light up the back, you turn on the back lights. The Kersey lights underneath are handy. They're wired direct. The lighting, if you have a rack without the lighting on it, you're missing out.
It's almost worth having it just for the lighting.
Well, and you use really high quality lights on it, of course.
And we use Sea Light, which is also headquartered here in Russellville, Arkansas, another Arkansas-based American company. And we've been running these lights for 4.5 years. We have yet to have a single failure on a Sea Light.
Yeah.
I have personally on my truck and some other stuff, I run some high-end lights. I've had multiple failures from these high-end lights. Now, they've warranted them, but they've failed.
Yeah.
Sea Light, out in the weather all the time, I've yet to have a failure. So they're a good partner. We appreciate, them helping us out and being part of it, and them being local, us being able to go pick up lights, grab them, swap it, very good partner to have.
So the lights on Garrett, can you pull the rack back up one more time?
Yeah. Let me pull it back.
So the rack, and when he gets pulled back up here, just want to explain it one more. So stay right there where you're at. Go back up just
Okay.
there we go.
Right there.
So as you can see on your far, I hope it's the same as what I'm looking at. Everybody else on your far left, you can see the rack that can sit down on your bed, and you get the storage, you get the lights, you get everything there. But you could still lower your tailgate down. You can still put stuff under it. But the sides, as you can see, you can get these different sides at different heights to where you can use the different heights to your advantage. So that's why it's adaptable, is
Yes.
that you can adapt it to the certain heights of what you want. And I, mine is level with my roof, but I love it. You still have plenty of room to put your gun or kennel under it. Garrett and I hang stuff under there. You can slide, if you put some straps under there, you can stick your guns through there. You could do all kinds of things, but
Your sleds, all your sleds.
oh, we've got stuff all over that thing. But the lighting on there that you can see in the corners there, those are not the light bar is facing either straight back, and on the bed rack it's facing straight back, but the lights on the corners are angled like you were talking about. And you don't realize how nice that is until you actually have a light like that that's angled. And on the front, on the roof rack, when you installed the roof rack on mine, I thought, man, I don't know if I would ever use those lights that are angled. And you told me, you said you're going to use those more than what you think. There it is right there. And that may be my favorite light on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Are the front lights on the roof rack that angles, because like you said, when you're driving and you're getting ready to make a left-hand turn, usually until your light's on the front, till you actually start turning, you can't see. Well, I mean, you can already see where you're going with those lights like that. And it was, it's just the time and the effort and the thought you put into this thing is just unbelievable. So, and now you can see some pictures of the roof rack. And I mean, it's built just like the bed rack. I mean, it's so solid, but it's different than other racks on the market. So talk about what's different on it, the way it attaches and everything than other roof racks on the market.
So it's a roof platform.
Yeah.
Storage. And it's not really a roof, and it's not really a roof rack. And we go over your existing high dollar audio roof or your factory installed plastic roof. We set above it. All the weight is transferred directly to your frame. And it's not to your roof. There are no holes drilled in your roof to mount this rack. It sets up there. So your roof, if it was waterproof, it's still waterproof. If it wasn't leaking, it's not leaking. But you could put that roof rack could hold probably your whole side by side up there. It is extremely tough, but at the same time, it only weighs like your roof platform on your full size max unit. It's 125 pounds. I mean, most people would be lucky to date a girl weight only 125 pounds in the passenger seat, right?
That's right. That's right.
So it's not adding any weight. And, a good healthy, 12-year-old kid weighs 125 pounds. So it's not adding any weight. It's not making you top heavy. If you put this stuff on there, you might feel a little difference for like the first 15 minutes that you drive it. After that, it's, you have no idea that your roof rack or your rear rack is even on the machine. It drives just extremely well, handles well. We've not raised the center of gravity. It's how you load it, and how you load it, all things just use common sense and safe driving practices.
And now Garrett and I use this, and a lot of people use it for hunting, right? But you have taken your the working side of you and said, I want somewhere for my tool. I want this to be a work rig as well. So these are not just being bought by people who are taking them out to duck hunt or deer hunt or predator hunt. And we're going to get more into that here in a minute with the stuff for predator hunting and deer hunting. But talk about the work side of it, because you really went to a different level with how you can, with your pack out stuff, and you guys are rigging these out for fire departments. And talk about that side of it for a little bit. So it's not just a hunting thing. I mean, this can be used for ranchers and other professions as well. So let's talk about a little bit about the ones you did for the fire fighters, and the on the screen where you can see the pack outs and stuff.
Okay. So we use on our sawmill side, I mean, we're a big proponent of Milwaukee. We think they build really good tools. Their pack out system is really nice. It provides you with a nice dust proof, waterproof container to put whatever you want in. It's very rugged, and it's got a simple lock in place, no straps. We wanted to adapt that capability to the rack for a more industrial use. But it's not only industrial, it's like you got stuff you want to carry, camera, wallet, you know, firearm, whatever, stick in there, first aid kits. We have integrated the Milwaukee pack out system into our racks.
Yeah.
So, you know, lawn care, you know, going out, working on your tractor, you want to carry your tools, you can just throw them, lock them in, no straps, quick, boom, you're out there, no dust, no mud, all your tools are, open the case up, there they are. So we really like that aspect. And then for the firefighting, you know, it's more a prescribed burn unit for people who burn. And prescribed burning, you'll start to see on our website, we have a lot of changes coming, fire management and the benefit that it is to wildlife to do a prescribed burn on your property. The documentation, the research, it is the most healthy thing you can do. Get rid of that. You release native grasses, get rid of this debris. It comes back way better, and it's way better for, you know, all wildlife and the environment to burn your property. And we have a unit that lets you do that either commercially or, you know, as an individual, and carry all your tools, you know, carry the stuff in case something gets out, but you can build your fire lines and all, and we'll have a lot of information of how to do it, why to do it on this site that will be a knowledge base for people who are interested in this side of the industry. And if you're a landowner, I mean, there are lots and lots and lots of benefits for doing this. And we're going to try to bring that out. We're going to do several blogs that you'll be able to read why, how. We're going to show prescribed burns that we've done. We're going to show you before, during, after. We're going to show you what it looks like 3 months after, 6 months after, a year after, and what you can do with your property by doing this. And we just happen to have a tool that helps to do it safely, efficiently, and we really look forward to expanding that side. And next course, and you can imagine, you've seen the rack, you know what it can do, is we'll be entering the search and rescue customization of that market too.
Well, and that's the thing that's so intriguing about it, is it's not just for hunting, even though that's what Garrett and I use it for, and a lot of people. And if you want to use it for hunting, it's the perfect rack, right?
Yes.
But if you're into other stuff, you could still use it. I mean, it's got so much that you can do with it. I mean, you know, I can't talk enough about it. And I mean, there's so many different accessories that you could get with it. Are you selling the accessories now? Like is it an extended platform off the back or what? I've seen that you.
Well, we have several new roof platforms coming out. Okay. So we have the original one that you have. We now have one that will be hitting the market real quick for single seat side by sides. It just goes over their roof, but you get all that light packaging. So we've got a new plate, and we've had several go out with their new mounting plates. So they have the lights you have with the white lights, and underneath those, now there's a 40-inch green or red light, more stealthy.
Yeah.
Into the woods and not playing birds or scaring deer that go with it. So we've become a distributor for elusive wildlife, red and green lights that we offer as a package for predator and deer. We've got a new super long prototype that we're working on that is in the shop now that will give you even a larger shooting platform or work platform or storage platform above. If you don't run a rear rack, it will extend back over your bed, still be able to do that. You won't have the advantage of all those nice side accessories that you have on the rear rack, but you will have, you know, instead of 9 seat locations, you're probably going to have 12. Spread out a little bit more. You could probably easily hunt 4 people off the top for a 4-man predator team, or family get together or whatever you want to do, and that will appeal.
You can just throw a party up there.
That's
Have a safari, whatever you want to do, huh?
That's right. And but it's like one of the last shows we're at. We had 4 machines there. One's an overlanding outfit. One's a duck hunting rig. One's a fire buggy. One's a deer hunting rig with the game hoist off of our heavy haul, which we haven't talked about, that goes into your receiver hitch. It's the same rack system.
Yeah.
It's completely different each time you configure differently.
Right.
But
well,
it's the same platform.
One of the things that we found that people that have our stuff, if they've got their, you know, if they're hunting, duck hunting, come deer season, come, you know, predator hunting, or they're working their farm or their ranch in the summer, they don't want to take it off. If it's just if they're hunting for duck hunting, they get used to it and they use it like the tool it's intended for.
Right. And that's the thing that is I mean, of course, like I said, I mean, the most work I do with it is in the deer woods. You know, I'm not out with the pack outs and all that. I use it for hunting, but there's so many things you can do with it, even if you're not a hunter or you're a hunter and you have these other things. So you don't have to buy a whole nother system or take it off. You don't, you know, you can use it. There's other accessories you can get that go along with it and just add to it with it's endless. The things you can do with it.
There's so many things. And you get on, like, if you get on their website, like I've been getting on here and kind of showing people tonight. I know you can't see it on the podcast version, but you can go to their website at alpharackusa.com and look at all this. But there's the heavy hauler. Like they've got so many things on this website, and they're engineering brains that they've been talking about, much smarter than we are. It's really unbelievable.
Russell and Scott, talk a little bit about those accessories that can go into the receiver hitch, because we've talked about the rear rack, we've talked about the roof rack, but it's not just the rack. You have another piece that can go into your receiver hitch to give you more storage area. And again, if you're listening to the podcast version, you won't see what we're showing on our screen. We're showing pictures of this on the website. but it is at alpharackusa.com. But talk about those accessories and what you have that go into the receiver hitch.
Okay, so right now we have what we call the heavy haul. It is a receiver hitch mount. It's not like a carrier like you put in your car.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't drive anywhere with that. So
No.
we've engineered a system where we bring it up more like a bike rack, keep it close in so that you can go almost anywhere you go with your machine with this back there.
Mm-hmm.
So we purposely designed it to be able to stay there, hit the trails, go through, rough conditions to get there. And it's a mounting platform.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very useful. We've got from, game hoist to, there's pictures on there probably with, 180 quart cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Full of beer. So it's heavy.
Or deer or mule deer or beer. But one of our media people who uses it all the time on his rig, from hauling his camera gear to going out hunting out west, duck hunting, land management, he says it's his favorite place because it's such a handy platform to work.
Yeah.
And stuff. And that's his favorite accessory.
Well, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the picture of it just a minute ago. Of course, I've seen yours a lot of times, but when Garrett was showing that picture a minute ago, I was like, you know what? Do you know how tired I get of letting my tailgate down and only having how wide's a tailgate? I know I don't know what, 10 inches?
About 10.
Yeah. So all the time dropping screws and trying to work on deer feeders and stuff on that because you got stuff in your bed. I just thought just a second ago, it just hit me. I was like, I've got to get one. That's so practical.
And you can still open your tailgate with it on because it slides out with plenty of room for you to lower your tailgate and not pinch your hand and put it up and lay it back. So you have a bed extension. Let's say you're about to put up a deer stand and you need to carry some 12-foot long, 16-foot long 4x. Well, you can put them in your bed with that put back, strap them down. Guess what? You're going to make it.
Yeah.
So it's just got lots of possibilities. Right now we have a Blackstone griddle put on one on our
now you're getting Garrett's attention.
Okay. And so cook, close it, hit the latch, you're ready to drive off. You don't have to wait for it to cool off.
Yeah.
You just go. So
y'all just thought of everything. Y'all thought of everything. I can imagine y'all's brains. You just stay awake at night coming up with all these ideas and things that y'all can do with these things.
Well,
the only difference between y'all and us is we think of things and we can't possibly make it happen.
We can't build them. We can't build them. And Garrett and I would have made a rack back there that as soon as we had it made, we were like, this is perfect. We'd have tried to open the tailgate. We'd have tried to open the tailgate and we were like, we didn't think of everything. We should have made it where it could slide out. But you did. And Russell's like that. Every time I talk to him or every time I am up at his shop or whatever, he's like, hey, we're working on this. We're thinking about but it's just the mind.
The gears are always turning.
It's to the next thing. He's 5 steps ahead on everything. And so
they're turning, but Scott makes it from idea into reality. And that's where
it takes a team, and you've got a pretty good team up there. So
every now and then something good comes out of Polk County, huh?
Yeah, every now and then.
Well, look, guys, let's take another commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about if you've got some new things coming out, if you can or can't say what's coming down the road for you guys, and then what shows are coming up, and let's just talk about what's in the future for Alpha. So let's take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more of episode 21 with Alpha Innovations.
Okay, all right.
Welcome back to episode 21, and we are one guest short right now. He had to take a little break there, but Russell will be back shortly. There he is. He made it back.
He's back.
We are joined by Russell and Scott all the way up in Russellville, Arkansas from Alpha Innovations. And guys, we appreciate you being with us tonight and love talking about the rack. I love talking with Russell all the time about, just the things that are coming or just things about the rack, because there's so much we could talk about. Garrett and I, when I walk out to the barn and I pull it out and I hit those lights and pull up, it's just everybody wants to talk about it. Garrett.
Or if you pull up to the diner after you're done hunting and people see it on your trailer.
If you got it on your trailer.
It's like, what is that thing, man? That is amazing.
People want to take pictures of it, and but even at our camp, I mean, the guys down there, they see it all the time, but you pull up in it in the morning and they'll be sipping their coffee and they'll say, "Man, that's one hell of a rig right there, man." Now that's a
or they just walk in they just keep walking in circles around it, just staring at it,
punching buttons for lights to come on and everything like that. But Russell, what's coming down the road? I mean, and you may not can tell too much or whatnot, but I mean, are there any new products coming out or that you can at least talk about?
Always new products coming out.
Well, at least that you could talk about,
And right now, the one that's about to come out, which is in the shop, and we'll have,
is the front rack
going to a show at Sea Island, Georgia, for a national sporting clays championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have a heavy haul, we have the ultimate 6-gun shotgun rack to haul your $30,000 to $70,000 sporting clay shotgun around in a nice, safe manner. We're gonna have that out, and it's pretty sported. You carry a case of shells and hang your hearing protection and eye protection and your fancy shooting vest on, and put 6 nice shotguns in that will be completely safe and secure. And we've partnered with their distributor for Kojo Manufacturing with their magnets out of Louisiana, another good American-based company. And that will be nice, and it'll be nice and easy with a couple of latches, and you'll set this gun rack off over there by wherever you're shooting at, or back on your vehicle. That's going to be good. I mean, then later this summer, of course, we'll be going back to a nice power sports and overlanding show up in Springfield, and exhibiting there and showing versatilities of it. Got a new partner that is Jack Be Quick, which is we'll be selling and repping for a high lift jack that runs off, DeWalt or Milwaukee batteries. So no cranking, no pumping, just hit a button and, change your tire, get yourself out of the mud, do whatever. And of course, Delta Waterfowl's coming up, which will be in Baton Rouge this year, and we're really looking forward to that. And then we've added things for a Kawasaki mule.
Mm-hmm.
So when we head to Texas Trophy Hunters and Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and San Antonio, it's a real big player there in Texas in that market. And
Yeah.
besides the Can-Am and the Polaris, and
Right.
we've added stuff. We're working on CF Moto, Segway, Kubota, John Deere Gators. We're expanding the options on your side-by-side of what we produce products for. So we're looking forward to expanding that market out to other users besides just Polaris and Can-Am where we started.
Now, have you announced or anything? I don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to, but are you going to do a front rack?
We have a front rack for the Polaris.
Okay.
We'll have
I didn't know if it was out yet, so I didn't want to say I've seen it, but I have seen it.
well, we've sold one and we've had it and we've demoed it and it's been at shows. It's not on the website yet because we don't have any stock, but we have a bunch of them coming in and they'll be out. We'll have the front rack for, it's you pick the low hanging fruit, and it's real easy for us to adapt what we have for the Polaris to the CF Moto and to the Kawasaki.
Mm-hmm.
The Can-Am design of how we want to build it, which does not require a special bumper or bumper mount and can still hold 350 pounds. We're still working on that, but we definitely are working. We think we have it figured out, but we have to prototype test because we do not want to bring anything out to the market that we don't think is thoroughly tested and road ready and going to hang up, be simple, rugged, reliable, and that is worth watching for.
But your Polaris one is ready to come out.
It is ready. We've sold one. The guy who's got it is loving it, and he's helped us sell several more things because he talks about it, shows it. I mean, it's an impressive machine, but we have a lot coming, and when we get them back in, we'll get that out there, and it'll be available relatively soon. Surely by late spring, early summer, it will be ready for people to get.
Well, if you need me to bring my side by side to Baton Rouge, I can, because it was so dirty after duck season that I thought I was going to have to spend a whole weekend cleaning on it. I took it to a guy and said, "Look, man, I'll pay you whatever you want to clean this thing up. That sucker's armor all up. If you sit in the seat, you'll slide out. I mean, it's slick, but we're going to have it. We're planning on doing a few things throughout the spring and summer down here kind of in our area, and we'll have it out for people to see as well and be able to promote it as well, because it's I like it better dirty, to be honest with you, but it just looks good dirty to me, but it's all shined up, and we're gonna let people see it this spring and summer as well. And so, Russell, if anybody wants to order a product or find out more information, where do you want them to go? What's their best first and second option there?
Their first bet is just first go to alpharackusa.com and get some ideas of maybe what you want. If we don't have on the website what you want or what you're thinking, pick up the phone and call the number under the contact us and talk to us about what you're looking to have. And there's a good chance if you want it, maybe other people want it. I mean, we're into custom design and custom build, so that is part of our stuff. So, but not everything you see is made it to the website yet that you might see at a show. You know, pick us up, call, talk to us. We'll work with you. Scott is great to get into the custom side and figure stuff out, and we can fix you up.
Now, the number on the website, that's Rhett's number, right? Because he's such a talkative guy. You put his number on there?
That'll come. You might talk to Brett, you might talk to Scott, you might talk to me, but it'll be one of us. And if whoever talks to you doesn't know the answer, you know, they'll get you back. You can send an email, you know, and the best thing is like go to the website, sign up for emails. When there's a new product, it will be announced via an email. We're not the company that sends you an email every day telling you nothing. You know, hey, you know, we send you emails about important stuff. We've added, you know, CF motor. We've got the Kubota rack ready. We've got the new front rack for the players. That's the information you'll get. When we have a new product, that's when we send the email. So.
Well, here is what I want all of our listeners and everybody who watches this show for days to come and weeks, and people will go back and watch it, whether you're watching live or you see it later or listen to the podcast. Go to the website, alpharackusa.com. Check this out. Okay. We can sit here and talk about it for 3 hours and still can't do this thing justice. Okay. Do yourself a favor. Go to the website, spend a couple minutes and look through all of the options. And Russell, you and I have had this conversation before. Don't let the price jump out at you and scare you, because you need to know what you're getting. You are getting something that you're not going to have to replace. This thing is going to last you a lifetime. And if you do have any problems with it, you could pick up the phone and call Russell, and I can personally guarantee you that they will make it right. I don't think you're going to have to do that, but if you did, they are going to stand behind their product. It's American made, it's Arkansas made, it's a great product. And if you're looking for the cheapest rack that you can find, I think at Walmart you can buy one, honestly. I think Garrett and I actually duck hunted with a guy this last year that had a rack that would barely handle a dozen decoys without it sagging. But he said he got his off of Walmart.com. If that's what you're wanting to look, by all means. We're not saying you have to have the most expensive thing out there. But if you want something that's going to give you the versatility that the Alpha Rack does and the quality and the total package, go to the website, check it out, send Russell or Scott an email, send us an email or a phone call or a text or a Facebook message, and we will answer any questions that we can about it. If you're worried about Russell and them trying to sell you on the product because they own it and they make it, get with us. We don't own it and we don't make it, and we're going to give you our honest opinion about it. We've been using it for 2 years, and we'll tell you all about it. And it's I can't stress it enough how great of a product it is. And Russell, before we get off here, I want to tell you that, of course, people hear this all the time. I'm a very skeptical person. I'm like, well, this is great, but, what's it going to do in a year? What's it going to do in 2 years? I wasn't skeptical about your product at all, except I thought, side by sides start to creak and make noises and make, and I thought to myself, I wonder if this rack will do that, because I had heard other racks on the market. That was a big complaint from people, that the creaking and it'll start making noises and stuff. And I have 0 out of mine, 0. And I think that's because of the product that you use to make it, because you don't just put any old bolts in it and nuts and washers, all the things that I saw you put. I mean, it's high quality stuff. And the reason why you do that is because you want it to last and not corrode and do all of those things. And so as high quality as you can get, this is it. So I know you probably hear me and I'm beating a dead horse, but I cannot praise your product enough.
Well, we're grateful and appreciate it. You know, it's basically all aluminum. It's not going to rust. You know, we use grade 10.9 metric fasteners just because every other bolt on your side by side is metric. Why should you have two different set of tools? And we do quality fasteners. You know, we make it thick where it needs to be thick and thin where it can be thin and light where it can be light, but we never sacrifice strength or quality for cost. That's why it costs what it costs. I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, people who want the best deserve the best, and
That's right.
we're the supplier for a very high-end quality product. If you want it to last, and you know what's cheaper, to buy a subpar rack every 2 years or have one that you can probably take off and put on your new side by side?
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
be good. And
And
we can adapt. You know, let's say you had a Polaris, we can adapt to a Can-Am if you bought a new Can-Am and you keep the majority of your rack.
mhm.
It's modular. We have this figured out. So
Yep.
if you switch brands, probably minimal cost to swap it over. You don't have to sell it, keep it. We have a retrofit to put it on your new vehicle.
And Garrett was talking about you, you know, y'all thinking of everything down to the smallest details. And it was like you said, just thinking of why carry two sets of tools? You know, let's make this metric just like your side by side. And it dawned on me to throw another thing in there is just like the side, you know, the compartments and things that you can have on the sides. You told me one time, you were like, well, we made this width because a box of shells will fit in here. And I was like, who thinks of that? Like, I would have just made it where, okay, you got a compartment, whatever fits in it, right? But you strategically made it so that a box of shells would fit in it, you know, and I think you told me a 3.5 inch box, you know what, but
Mhm.
so, which would mean any box would fit in it. And it amazes me the detail that you went to make this thing right. And you really did.
Well, we know everybody uses them different, but we use them every day. And
Mhm.
so, you know, a lot of it is just making stuff that we want. But, you know, if you want something different or need something special, please contact us. I mean, we know we haven't thought of everything, and we appreciate, you know, inspiration and ideas, and we can turn it, you know, I say, Scott, they need this. Scott turns it into reality. Presto, you know, new design, here we go. And it fits existing product. And, you know, so you're not outdated,
Yeah.
you know, per se, that you got to get a new iPhone. No, you know, our stuff will just keep working.
Well, if you want to see a good looking rig, come on down to Baton Rouge and take a look at, what do you call it? Alpha One, or what is your big rig?
Yeah, Alpha One's the big rig.
That thing has got as many gadgets and cameras and screens. That thing is cool. And if you want to see a pretty cool rig, come down to Baton Rouge and take a look at that thing at the Delta Expo this summer. But please go over, do yourself a favor. Go check out their website, alpharackusa.com. And if you do want any more information, we'll have links on our Facebook page as well and on our social media. And pick up the phone and give them a shout if you have any questions. And so, Russell and Scott, we really appreciate you for taking time to chat with us tonight. And we hope to see you this summer at the expo.
Sounds great.
Looking forward to it.
Appreciate
All
y'all.
right. Well, that'll do it for episode 21 right here on The Blind. Again, we appreciate our friends at Alpha Innovations for not only being a friend and a partner on our show, but making just high quality products right here in the USA and in the state of Arkansas. So we appreciate them for all that they do. go over to their website and check out all of their products at alpharackusa.com. And we'll be sharing more on our Facebook page and social media about it as well. And we appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe on all the social media to us, and go over and give the podcast version a listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And make sure you subscribe on there as well. Make sure you go over on Facebook and Instagram as well and like Alpha Innovations. They put out some really good content on there. And what's Sunday Scripture? Is that what you call it? The Sunday
Yes.
thing?
Mhm.
And so they also put out some good word on Sundays as well. So go over and give them a like and follow them on social media as well. And if you get time, ride on down to Baton Rouge this summer and have a visit with all of us. So, well, that'll do it. We'll see you next week. Next week will be the season finale for season 2, episode 22. And we're going to wrap it up for a couple months and take a little bit of a break so we don't have to keep Garrett out past dinner time every Thursday. So for Garrett and Bryan and everybody here at The Blind, we'll see you next week. Appreciate you for watching.